This is the newsroom for Wednesday, March 17, 2021. We're broadcasting to you on E1, Scar TV, NTN, and Tarzi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, Speaker of the National Assembly, parliamentarians and former Prime Minister vaccinated against COVID-19.
It's not sufficient to talk the talk, but we need to do the walk.
More sophisticated diagnosis and treatment for women suffering from postpartum depression in Guyana. Scrap metal dealers want trading to reopen forthwith.
It's been really affecting me because I'm not doing anything right now and it's really hard.
In tonight's feature, Dr. Balwant Singh's hospital to start comprehensive heart surgeries at reduced costs. And in sport, Neil Dans omitted as Golden Jaguars name World Cup qualifier squad. And in tonight's sport feature, we share a story of dedication to fitness and sales. With the news, I'm Kurt Campbell. Thank you for joining us. First up, sitting members of Parliament and former MPs from both sides of the House were on Wednesday vaccinated against COVID-19. The AstraZeneca vaccine was administered to the MPs at Parliament Buildings, Georgetown, during a vaccination drive organized by the National Assembly. Speaker of the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir, said the vaccines were made available for MPs by President Irfan Ali sometime last week. It comes as Guyana has only made two groups of persons eligible for vaccination: persons 60 years and above and frontline health workers. The Speaker was vaccinated along with his wife. They are both patients who have recovered from COVID-19. Also receiving the vaccine on Wednesday was former Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu and his wife Sita Nagamutu. The MPs went through the standard registration process before being vaccinated with a June 2021 date for the second jab. They reported feeling normal afterwards. While some MPs have refused to take the vaccine at this time, it was made available to all parliamentarians.
It's important that we tell our people that vaccination is something that is highly recommended. And as Speaker, I want to be among the first also to be vaccinated. I feel it's more than necessary. It's not sufficient to talk the talk, but we need to do the walk. And so today I'm pleased to see quite a few members of Parliament here. Former Minister Westford, Mrs. Nadir has joined me. She's over 60, so she does qualify. I have a preference. I wanted the Chinese vaccine, but I was told the drawback was older people. It wasn't highly recommended. But I prefer to go with that rather than risk a blood clot at my age.
The vaccine was like all other vaccines. It was normal. I did not even feel when I got it. The registration, we had a registration. The registration clerk explained to us what the vaccine is about. They explained to us how we will feel. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be sitting for 15 minutes, so I'm breaking the rules a bit here. So I'll be going to sit, but I'm feeling okay.
We tell you now that another person who tested positive for the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, died on Wednesday, the Ministry of Health reported. This takes the total number of deaths from the pandemic to 210. The latest fatality is a 42-year-old male from Region 3, Essequibo Islands, West Demerara, who died while receiving care at a medical facility. On Tuesday, a 66-year-old woman from Region 4 also died while receiving care. 13 persons have so far died for the month of March. With little being done to diagnose and treat postpartum depression in Guyana, the Women's Health Unit at the Ministry of Health will be introducing a tool to diagnose postpartum depression. In addition, Health Coordinator Dr. Yumdai Ratan explains how the unit has been working to break barriers for women who cannot become pregnant, who does not want to become pregnant, or those who silently suffer from health conditions that prevent pregnancy. Here is more.
We've realized that the emphasis has always been placed on the woman when she's pregnant. And after she would have gotten her vaccine, her last vaccination, we more than likely would never see her again until she's pregnant. So we're trying to move away from that practice that we have in Guyana. So engaging in more of these women's wellness clinic, hoping to establish them at each health facility. So you could walk in and ask for a breast examination or ask when you should screen for cervical cancer and so on. So we're promoting more of that. Another aspect that women's health is participating in is gender-based violence. So we've realized that there is great need, especially during the pandemic. We don't have numbers to give you right now, but especially during the pandemic, these numbers have gone up. And so we are working in collaboration with other agencies to address this issue. It's gender-based, it's not only against women, it's against men too. So, but our focus would be on women. We are also involved in the maternal. We collaborate with the maternal and child health department to promote safe motherhood. Not only we want the mother to deliver a healthy baby, that's one of our main goals, but we also want her to be safe and healthy, which includes mental health during the postpartum period. There are signs that you could look at, like for example, teach them how to breastfeed. And when we see signs of withdrawal, sometimes it's very hard to even diagnose the postpartum depression. So there's a tool that we're introducing, because everyone who attends antenatal clinic knows that the government has a booklet. So we are actually introducing very soon a postpartum booklet, so that would cover the woman's postpartum health. And we're going to be using the Edinburgh screening tool for depression, postpartum depression. So screening her, after that, there are key questions and criteria that we look for, and so we're able to diagnose that. So we recognize a lot hasn't been done. So even though we did a lot, there's a lot more that could be done. So those are some of the things.
Thank you, Isanella. President Irfan Ali on Wednesday said that Guyana is poised to become the most exciting investment destination in the Western Hemisphere. The head of state made this pronouncement during his address at the opening of the Guyana Basin Summit 2021, held virtually this morning. The event, which is aimed at creating investment and development opportunities in the Guyana-Suriname Basin, brings oil and gas leaders and the global energy community together during the virtual edition before a physical conference is held in October in Georgetown. President Ali noted that while the summit is not necessarily confined to oil and gas, the sector will become a focal point during deliberations. He added that his government intends to maximize on the many business opportunities that exist along the value chain of the country's fledgling petroleum sector while expanding drilling, exploration, and production activities.
Guyana is set to become an economic and energy epicenter in the Western Hemisphere. It is also destined to emerge as one of the most diversified regional economies, providing a treasure trove of economic opportunities. The country will be propelled not only by oil and gas, but by other sectors, including manufacturing, knowledge services, health services, digital technology, agriculture, tourism, and aquaculture. These sectors will complement the traditional sectors, which are being modernized and which will retain their role as economic mainstays. This dynamic transformation will be driven principally by the private sector.
Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a 15-month-old Sahara La Cruz. According to a police report, the baby girl of Kobora Village, Maruka Region 1, died during the wee hours of Tuesday after experiencing a seizure. The child lived with her mother, who told police that she was awakened by the baby's cries at about 3:30 hours. The mother said she attempted to breastfeed her, but the baby refused. Soon after, the baby began experiencing convulsions and subsequently went into an unconscious state. The matter was later reported to the Aquero police station. A post-mortem examination will be done shortly. When the newsroom returns, we tell you about the readiness of Guyanese firefighters, and scrap metal dealers want trading to reopen immediately. You're watching the newsroom. The Guyana Metal Association on Wednesday hosted a meeting where they provided a platform for their stakeholders to publicly address concerns regarding the closure of the scrap metal trade and its effects on them. Spearheading the meeting was the association's Secretary and Treasurer, Stephen Bourne, and Shalili Diaz.
The Guyana Metal Recyclers Association said that the metal trading was abruptly suspended on September 30, 2020, and since, though they have been in constant communication with Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Onej Waldron, and Minister of Home Affairs, Robson Ben, they have not received any word on when metal trading will reopen. The association stated that on November 17, 2020, they had a meeting with Minister Waldron where she promised that scrap and metal trade will reopen no later than December 15, 2020. The newsroom understands that the association was informed by Minister Waldron that the reopening will be done in phases after a new and improved scanner is installed. However, a date to when this phase will commence is currently unknown. The association believes that they have exhausted all of their options and feels as though they are being treated unfairly.
We would want to appeal to the President to understand the plight of scrap metal dealers and stakeholders, everyone that is involved or benefit from the proceeds of the scrap metal trade. That we are indeed facing challenging times. It is challenging times for us, and we would like to call on him to have this trade reopen.
Shalini Diaz, the treasurer of the association, also pleaded for assistance. Diaz stated that this is not the first time the trade was closed. In 2015, when the previous administration took office, they were closed for 2 years.
The funny thing is, soon as there's a change in government or there's anything, we are the only industry that always faces this problem. We are working good today, and then at the end of the day you hear there's a closure without any notice, any information passed on, or for no reasons at all.
Diaz further went on to state that the abrupt closure was not as a result of the Belgium drug bust, since they were closed a month prior.
When the members of the executive tried to find out, we were told that there's an audit process. Am I right?
That is correct.
Right, they are conducting an audit process, and as soon as that is finished, they will be able to reopen us.
Stakeholders who attended the meeting said that they have been severely affected by this 5 months closure. The newsroom understands that metal trading is the only jobs some of these stakeholders have. As such, they have been out of jobs since last September.
I'm a single parent. I have 3 children. That is the smallest one there. And it's been really affecting me because I'm not doing anything right now, and it's really hard. My stuff is stored on not my premises, and the people, every day I get in some terrible costs, like you have to move the stuff, you have to move, it's been affecting me real hard as single parents. So I'm pleading, you have to please open the trade.
I'm working on the land first side, but it is very hard for me. I have 6 children, and I have internet bills to pay because I don't have school. And I'm a store that to sell to the dealer, and my things are not selling, and I would like to know if the government can assist me by reopening the trade, because I have a lot of bills to pay. I due bills. I don't have no money to pay the people. So I don't have the internet at the present moment because I don't have no money to pay the net. And I'm asking the president of this country if he could please help us out and reopen this trade, because we are suffering. We things stored, and the dealers cannot buy it. So we have no money to get. That is our living for nearly 38 to 40 years now. That is my living.
The Guyana Metal Recyclers Association currently controls 23 metal exporters and several metal collectors. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Danica Paul.
Thank you, Danica. Bank of Baroda Guyana Inc. on Wednesday signed an agreement with the government of Guyana to be designated as a mortgage finance company. The agreement paves the way for persons in low-income and middle-income groups to have easier access to loans for the construction of their homes. Here is more.
With the increasing demand for home ownership in Guyana, the government and Bank of Baroda have signed an agreement for persons to acquire loans without hustle and with low interest rates. The agreement was signed at the Artichon Conference Center, Great Georgetown, under Section 15 of the Income Tax Act, Chapter 1801 of the Laws of Guyana on Wednesday. The bank's managing director, Arun Kumar Gupta, explained during brief remarks how persons can benefit from this new service.
This will enable our esteemed customers to access the housing loans for purchase of housing lots and construction thereon at concessional rates of interest. As per the terms of this approval, the loans are to be granted at the rates not more than what is being charged by the new building society. So on a continuous basis we will be matching those rates, and as on present situation how much it will be, up to 6 million it will be at 4%, and from 6 million up to 12 million it will be 5.95%, and from 12 million up to 15 million it will be 6.25%.
According to Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell, the agreement forms part of the government's aim to help citizens own their own home. The minister said it is expected that the demand for loans in the sector will also increase, with the plan to deliver 50,000 house lots over the next 5 years.
Improved standard of living, therefore, has been basically one of humans' greatest needs and a desire, may I say. We are living now in a society where quality of housing is instrumental in probably shaping not only our morals, but as it's even taken up even more important role in ensuring that the macroeconomic stability is maintained.
The agreement signed on Wednesday comes a week after the New Building Society Limited announced that it will further reduce its interest rates on mortgages. Additionally, the Housing Ministry recently signed contracts totaling $13.9 billion to commence a series of infrastructural projects and the construction of some 290 homes in the first quarter of 2021. Senior Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, further reiterated steps the government is taking for persons to acquire homes.
Here again, an important step aimed at improving access to financing by Guyanese households for the purposes of acquiring and or constructing their own home. We also increased the ceiling on loans eligible for mortgage interest relief. And we also removed and reduced taxes on construction materials. These various elements form the parts of a comprehensive policy agenda articulated by this People's Progressive Party civic government with the objective of ensuring that Guyanese families can afford their own home.
Indian High Commissioner to Guyana, Dr. K.J. Srinivasa, also attended the signing and highlighted India's commitment to assisting in Guyana's further development. The Bank of Baroda is also looking to expand its operation in Guyana by introducing new products and services. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Isanella Pato.
The Guyana Fire Service for over a decade now has been involved in countrywide training from Monday to Wednesday, where every fire station is expected to practice their firefighting drills. These practices are carried out with the purpose of sharpening the skills of firefighters. These drills, which are mandatory for all firefighters, aids in better managing and controlling fires when called to a fire scene. Danica Paul reports.
Though firefighters may not be considered as frontline workers, the reality is they are. During the initial days of Guyana battling with the COVID-19 pandemic, firefighters still worked faithfully, but oftentimes did so unrecognized. The Guyana Fire Service, on a mission to sharpen and better firefighting in Guyana, is involved in weekly training sessions which are standard and recommended throughout the world. These sessions comprise different aspects of firefighting. Speaking to the newsroom on Wednesday, Station Officer Clive McDonnell explained that firefighters ought to always be prepared. If not, they cannot effectively carry out a task when they are called upon.
This morning we had a drill, what we call a four-man, a combined pump and ladder drill. That drill entails where the crew will get instructions from the supervisor.
Number 1 code. Last detail. Get away.
So they get the instructions from the supervisor there what to do, and you give them the instructions is to rescue a person that is just north of me. Relate to they stand here to rescue someone, but it was a firefighter there. So at first they set in the appliance, get access to water and so forth, because they have to go into this building with a charge line. So they set in, mount the ladder, pitch the ladder at first, mount. And sometimes it depends, you might have to do firefighting to do rescue, or rescue then you do firefighting. But first and foremost is that rescue comes first, because you must, one of the priority of a firefighter is that you must save lives, is important.
Any pains? Anything that you can request for the ambulance.
McDonald said he believes that these training sessions assist firefighters not only in Guyana, but also around the world to better fight fires.
Yes, there is a great improvement as relates to such, a rather great improvement, because training, like I said again, training is important so that when it goes out there, you don't have any mistakes, because that's not something that can be accepted from members of the general public.
The Guyana Fire Service has been faithfully serving the nation for decades now, and though the job is done, there are often complaints from the general public about fire trucks not arriving at the fires with sufficient water to extinguish the blaze. Station Officer McDonald explained that this is not a true statement.
At full throttle, if you to pump that water out, it's 400 gallons water, and the pump, to pump it, carries 250 gallons per minute. So within less than a minute, 2 minutes, the water is out of that tank. So on arrival on a fire, one building might be involved, 2 or more might be threatened. The supervisor will go immediately made an assessment of that scene. And when he made that assessment, that's within seconds. When he made that assessment, then he will know you have to go to open source. So that's why on arrival, when you made an assessment, you will take approximately 3 minutes to fully set up your work, sometimes longer. It depends on if there's water source nearby.
As of February 28, the fire service has received 202 fire calls, all of which they promptly responded to. Of the 202 calls, 72 persons were left homeless, while 3 persons died. As of February, 74 cases of the fires that were reported and investigated were due to arson, while 5 cases were due to children playing with matches. The fire service wishes to remind the general public that in an event of a fire, they can be contacted on 912, which is a 24 hours free hotline number. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Danica Paul.
We tell you now that the Guyana Prison Service and the Guyana Police Force are on the hunt for a prisoner who escaped from the Lusignan prison East Coast Demerara Wednesday morning. Police in a statement said 45-year-old Tate Singh jumped the southern prison fence and escaped into a clump of bushes at about 7:10 hours. Singh of Lot 81 Zealot North, West Coast Demerara, was serving a sentence for unlawful wounding and larceny of a water pump. More news after the break. This is the newsroom. Dr. Balwant Singh's hospital will soon offer heart surgeries ranging from simple to complex operations under the leadership of Dr. Prashant Vaidjanath, a renowned Indian surgeon. Professor Vaidjanath has more than 25 years of experience and has performed over 15,000 surgeries around the world. What is more, the hospital will be offering the surgeries at a cost lower than offered locally and at a fraction of the cost if patients and their families were to travel out of Guyana for surgeries. Dr. Vaidjanath spoke with the newsroom after examining the facilities at Dr. Balwant Singh's hospital.
I took all the risks coming here, crossing borders, because whatever I have to see is in person. You cannot get that impression on Zoom or something like that. You have to go personally, visit the facility, see its capability and what kind of infrastructure, material infrastructure as well as human infrastructure to assess that and to see the capability. And I'm very, very glad, very happy that this is fantastic setup. It is on par with any other setup in the Caribbean country, be it Barbados, be it Trinidad, be it Bahamas, or be it Jamaica. Actually, this is one of the better places, I would say. In this, you have a full-fledged cardiac operation theatre. You can see here the very advanced and sophisticated operating table. You have a light which gives you 180,000 lux, which is required for open heart surgery. You have a heart-lung machine, you have a temperature cooling machine, and this is a laminar flow air current. And then you have a whole sorts of disposables which are required for open heart surgery, like oxygenators, cannulas, heart valves, and I foresee that perhaps from next month we'll start operating, because this is absolutely battle ready. The ICUs are there, the operation theatre complex is there, you have all the disposable, you got patients also. So I think from next month we should be starting operating here. And the current administration, the administration of the hospital is very, very friendly and very, very proactive and progressive in order to develop the field of cardiovascular surgery for their own nation. And even the current political distribution is very, very friendly in order to support the services for common Guyanese citizens. They don't have to jump on the plane and go to the United States for mundane things, or for them it's a complex thing actually, but they should get themselves serviced and operated in their own country, because surgery is not just surgery, it has got multiple implications, social, psychological. You need social support, you need psychological support, you need residents, you need relatives around you. So that is not practicable when you go to other country. So it is better to have to develop the facility in our own country rather than going elsewhere. So we are planning to have a team of people. We will have crucial people like anesthesiologists, assistant surgeon, perfusionist who run the heart-lung machine, and physician assistant as a team to come in order to integrate and train the local team, because ultimately our motto is to train the local team so that they can stand on their 2 feet. Here we will be able to do a typical what is known as an open heart surgery, which means patients requiring a bypass operation, they can be done in 2 ways. But in India, and myself, speaking for myself, we do almost 99.9% off pump CABG, which means we don't put patient on the heart-lung machine, but we operate on the beating heart. We construct the bypass graft on the beating heart. So because we don't put the patient on heart-lung machine, there is lesser morbidity, lesser blood requirement, and they can go home very quickly. The length of stay in the hospital is minimized to maybe 5 days, 6 days, than a conventional open heart surgery where you have to put the patient on heart-lung machine. Apart from that, a coronary artery bypass surgery, apart from that, we are going to do valve replacement, we are going to do valve repair, we are going to do surgery for the aorta, we are going to do a transcatheter aortic valve implantation, which means without anesthetizing the patient, without opening the chest, cracking open the chest, you go through the peripheral artery and you implant the valve on the beating heart. That kind of capability we have, and then this is called TAVI or TAVR. I think that the comparative cost is going to be drastically reduced, because unless there is affordability and accessibility, there is no use of infrastructure. So if you create an infrastructure, you need to make it more affordable, more accessible to a common public. And I think that maybe from United States it will be like 1/3 of the cost. 1/3 of the cost minus the traveling expenses, minus the staying expenses in a foreign country, minus carrying all sorts of your relative there. So those costs are eliminated if you have indigenous capability to do procedure.
A child under 16 years is now 4 months pregnant after being reportedly raped. Police in a statement said the suspect was named by the victim, but he has not yet been arrested. While police say an active investigation into the matter is ongoing, up to this morning, statements were not yet taken. However, a medical report was obtained. When the newsroom returns, the financial weather and bridge reports along with sport.
Welcome back to Newsroom. Avinash Ramzan here with tonight's sport. We're starting off with some football news. The head coach, Marzio Maximo, has named 8 alumni of the Guyana Football Federation's pioneering Academy Training Center program in his final 23-man squad for the 2022 FIFA World Cup first-round qualifiers later this month. The local-based players and technical staff on Wednesday morning departed for the Dominican Republic from the Eugene F. Correa International Airport. More in this report. Head coach Marzio Maximo has also selected 3 new non-domestic players for the squad, which will play Trinidad and Tobago on March 25 and the Bahamas on March 30 in the Dominican Republic. It will be Guyana's first international matches since the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic. Maximo said, and I quote, "It's a strong and very competitive squad selection with a lot of energy in all areas of the field. The squad is renewed, which is a continuous cycle for us. I'm very confident we can be successful and reach the second round of FIFA World Cup qualifying. This is my target and job." End quote. Sean Adonis, Nikolai Andrews and Omari Glasgow, all members of the 2017 Under-15 Soliga Cup winning national youth team, joined Jeremy Garrett, Ryan Hackett, Nicholas McCarter, Kelsey Benjamin and Job Caesar as the latest successful products of the Guyana Football Federation's Academy Training Center Youth Development System to take the step up to the senior squad. UK-based right-back Miguel Scarlett, Watford defender Bailey Spencer-Adams and Bournemouth's midfielder Nathan Moriah Welch make the final 23 for the first time, while Cambridge United goalkeeper Kai Mackenzie Lyle returned to the fold. Domestic-based members of the squad on Wednesday departed from the Ogle Airport for the Dominican Republic, where they will be joined by non-domestic-based players to begin an extended training encampment. To qualify for Round 2 in CONCACAF's qualification process for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, Guyana must top its group, which also includes St. Kitts and Nevis and Puerto Rico. The Jaguars' 23-man squad reads goalkeepers Akel Clark, Kai Mackenzie Lyle and Sean Adonis. Defenders Miguel Scarlett, Matthew Briggs, Cadel Daniel, Jeremy Garrett, Nikolai Andrews, Bailey Spencer-Adams and Terence Van Kooten. The midfielders are Nathan Moriah Welch, Sam Cox, Daniel Wilson, Job Caesar, Ryan Hackett and Pernell Schultz. The forwards are Callum Harriott, Keanu Marsh-Brown, Omari Glasgow, Kelsey Benjamin, Nicholas McCarter, Treon Bobb and Emery Welshman. Meanwhile, a shocking omission from the squad was midfielder Neil Dans, a man who has scored 9 times for Guyana in 15 appearances. Dans on his social media platform said on Wednesday, quote, "Thank you for the messages of support. Disappointed not to be selected for the up-and-coming World Cup qualifiers due to age and not performance. And Coach Marzio Maximo refusing to take a call from me. I do not wish to cause any more distractions, so that is all I will say for now. I wish my brothers on the field the best of luck. I know they can do this. I will be wearing my Jaguars top with pride and supporting the team with you guys. Much love." End quote. The 38-year-old Dans scored in all 3 games in the 2019 Gold Cup and the CONCACAF Nations League qualification tournament and is widely regarded as the Jaguars' premier and most experienced midfielder. Now, despite half-centuries from opener Dwayne Smith, middle-order batsman Narsingh Deonarain and a fluent knock from skipper Brian Lara, West Indies legends missed out on a spot in the Road Safety World Series final, losing by 12 runs to India legends in a high-scoring first semi-final on Wednesday. Playing in Raipur, India legends racked up an imposing 218 for 3 from the 20 overs, but West Indies legends responded well, falling just short at 206 for 6 when the overs finished. India's total was built on Sachin Tendulkar's 65, 49 off 20 balls from Yuvraj Singh, 37 from Yusuf Pathan and 35 off 17 from Virender Sehwag. Tino Best took 2 for 26 for West Indies legends, who were led by Dwayne Smith's 63, 59 from Narsingh Deonarain and 46 from Brian Lara. The Guyanese batsman Deonarain also made a 50 in the previous game against England. Now, Mario Munsami started his first job as a customer service representative at the age of 17. Now, at 24, he is the group sales manager at the Guyana Marriott Hotel. Akeem Green brings you the story of how an only child from humble beginnings made the early sacrifices in academics and fitness to reap the benefits today.
From working 7 days a week to rise to the top of his job here at the Marriott Hotel, to being a fitness enthusiast, having a love-hate relationship with the Guyana Amazon Warriors, I bring you the story of 24-year-old Mario Munsami, who certainly shows that hard work pays off.
Well, I am Mario Munsami and I'm 24 years old and I'm currently the group sales manager at the Guyana Marriott Hotel. I've been with the company nearly 5 years and I originally started off as a sales coordinator, assisting with social and wedding events, and given the opportunity now, I'm actually handling the oil and gas segments of the hotel, sports such as CPL, and I'm also responsible for any clients that need 10 or more rooms. I got appointed at the age of 21, becoming one of the youngest managers in the Caribbean and Latin American region, and that came with a huge responsibility. And you know, I was very grateful for that. You know, it came with a lot of challenges as well. And you know, as a young person in that field, taking care of so much at once, and you know, you learn every day. And doing these things made me a better person, and now, you know, actually rising in my own department with what I do, you know, it makes me successful too. So coming from a humble family, I started my profession since at the age of 17. I fell in love with sales. I actually studied IT but fell in love with sales. But to get to that stage it was just an extremely hard process in a way, and I was working 7 days a week. As a youngster, you know, you want to give it your all, you're on the go, you have that energy, and I think that energy actually pushed me to where I am today. And actually believe in loving what I do. I think that made me a better person, because I believe if you don't love what you do, you can't do the job in your best ability. So, you know, finances were tough, you know, mainly because of my family situation, getting that on my own. So that was just a tough task on getting that done. But however, you know, everything does, and as the year goes by, I am who I am today.
Another astonishing aspect of the young man is his overwhelming love for fitness, which is inspired by his father, Alan Munsami, who was a bodybuilder.
Because there's a very special person in my life that actually made a strong impact in this segment, and that person is a role model to me, and that person is actually my dad. Looking at him as a kid, growing up, you know, he was always determined in gym, working very hard, but he was the one that also showed me that it's not only about working out, it was actually about your meal preps and being determined. So I took all of that from him and I started my journey as that. As a child growing up, everyone used to tell me, hey, your dad looks great. Everyone used to tell me about my dad, and you know, the way that he looks and the way that he carries himself, and that just made me, you know, go after that, and that's why I look up to him so much. And he showed me and told me all the benefits that health and fitness can do. And to be honest with you too, a lot of people don't know this about me. I do not believe in alcohol. I never smoke, I never drank, and I try to keep a clean, healthy lifestyle. And you know, because for me, I just want a longer life and also to look good too. All right, 4 years ago, I actually became the group sales manager at the Marriott Hotel, and this gave me the opportunity to be in charge of the CPL, taking care of the accommodations for the team, and that made a whole childhood dream came true for me. You know, watching these guys on TV, going crazy about them, and actually meeting them in real life, you know, it's something unbelievable. And what I do for them as well, I take care of their accommodations, such as the sleeping rooms, helping them get their meals, their pool time, their gym time, and just making sure they're comfortable when they're here in Guyana, and just praying that the team can actually get a title. hard work pays off. It pays off tremendously, and I can testify for that. Working at the age of 17, 7 days a week, 8 hours, 10 hours, you know, I put it all. But I believe that you must find something that you actually love to do. You don't want it to feel as a job too. And I believe that people are there watching you. Give it your all. Be the best that you inspire to be. And, you know, be patient. You know, good things come to those who wait, right? And, you know, you keep giving your all, you keep giving your best shot at it, and you're good to go.
And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, Newsroom.gy, our Facebook page and Instagram. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.